if I thought when I was little, young, that I would end up at in the winter of my life promoting kindness, I would not have believed it. But I realized that kindness is a currency. And just like money, I mean, here we are, JP Morgan, it compounds like money. And it creates energy and more energy. And generosity is an investment.
Yeah.
And the best investment.
Welcome to the Women on the Move podcast. I'm your host, Sam Saperstein. This season, we're delving into how strong communities create opportunities, foster belonging, and empower leaders to make a lasting impact. In this episode, I'm speaking with Diane von Furstenberg, visionary designer, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and global advocate for women. Best known for creating the iconic wrap dress and building a fashion empire, Diane has spent decades inspiring women in style, and earlier this year received the Crystal Award at the World Economic Forum, recognizing her lifelong commitment to gender equality. From the DVF brand to her InCharge movement and beyond, she's become a voice for confidence, resilience, and reinvention. Diane, it's such a pleasure to have you with us on this podcast for Women on the Move. Thank you so much for being with us and doing so much with us at JPMorganChase.
Well, we love JP Morgan.
Oh, we do too. I would love to start talking with you about one of your messages you really, I think, spent a lot of time discussing, which is truthfulness, being truthful to yourself and also being truthful to others.
Well, when I was growing up, well, first of all, maybe we talk about my birth.
Absolutely.
Because I think that the condition of my birth defines the person that I am and the way I live my life. Okay, so we go back to the end of the war, 1944, and a young 21-year-old woman, was my mother, got arrested because she was doing resistance.
Yeah.
And she got arrested, and she was terrified she was going to be tortured to find out, who were the people on the resistance. And she said, no, I know nothing. I was hiding because I'm Jewish. And the woman there said, well, you shouldn't say that because they will ship you. But anyway, she did. And so she went to Auschwitz. She spent 13 months in concentration camp. But she survived. She went through Auschwitz and Birkenau and Death March and Ravensbrück and whatever. But I guess she was strong, she was lucky, and she survived. When she came home, her parents could not believe that she'd come back. And she weighed 49 pounds. I mean, she was very skinny. But her mother fed her like a little bird, little by little, every 10 minutes. And within 6 months, she was normal. And her fiancé came back from Switzerland, where he had been during the war. They get married, and the doctor goes to see them and said, listen, in no way you can have a child for at least 3 years because you won't survive and the child will not be more normal. And sure enough, I was born less than a year after. And I may not have been more normal, but my mother didn't die. And anyway, so my mother used to say, God saved me so that I can give you life. By giving you life, you gave me my life back. You are my torch of freedom. So I was born with a torch of freedom in my hand, which you could say is a little heavy for a little girl. But for me, it was a blessing because it made me responsible. And the two things that my mother taught me is fear is not an option. If I was afraid of the dark, she would lock me in a dark closet. Today, she could go to jail for that. But as a result, I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
And also the other thing, no matter what, you cannot be a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the two things that being responsible for myself and not being afraid and not being a victim is probably the things that she taught me. And then the rest was in my hands. And I didn't really like being a little girl. I mean, I couldn't wait to grow up. I couldn't wait to be an adult. I couldn't wait to be InCharge. And I remember as a child in front of the mirror, I used to spend hours in front of the mirrors in my mother's vanity. She had a big vanity in her bedroom. And it's not that I liked what I looked like, because I didn't. I wish I was blonde with straight hair, because that's how all the little Belgian girls were. And I had curly hair and I looked like a little boy. But staring at the mirror, I would see that if I move, she moves. And therefore, it made me realize, oh, I have full control of myself. So that was a major thing. Anyway, all I wanted to do is be in charge. I wanted to be a woman in charge. I wanted to have a man's life in a woman's body. And I did. I did very early on. I came to this country. I mean, I was already pregnant and married, and then I had another child. So I had 2 children in 13 months. So I did everything quite quickly. And at the age of 25, I was already successful. I had, so by 27, I was separated and independent. I mean, so I was very much a woman in charge. At age 27, I bought my house. And so that's what I wanted to be. And what does it mean to be in charge? It's really not an aggressive statement. What it is, I discovered, is to own who you are. You own your imperfection, they become your assets. You own your vulnerability, you turn them into strength. So that's in what I practice. And also, because I became in charge with a little dress, as I was getting confident, my confidence was symbolized in that little dress.
The wrap dress.
And therefore, millions of women were experiencing what I was experiencing. So really, the wrap dress is really the flag of freedom, became the flag of freedom. And it's so weird, because 50 years later, you just
still
got
here. Exactly.
I mean,
still here.
And that dress has survived for so long.
And, and I think about this and putting it on. Obviously, it's so beautiful and it fits well. And I love the prints, all the prints. And this is an original.
And the fabric is
And the fabric
is indestructible. And that's why you can go in vintage shops and you can find
it's in women's closet, right? Their mother's closet. So
mother
pull
or
them out,
grandmother.
or grandmother. It's so interesting. You see that parallel between your freedom and women's freedom, and that a dress could do all that.
Right. But then I realized that, it was, yes, it is my, because now I'm in the winter of my life. So now it's all about what do I leave behind. I mean, my 3 of my grandchildren are adults,
Yeah.
So, I mean, life has happened, and it's been a very full life. I should be 300, not 70. And so you look back and you realize that because I was very outspoken, now looking back, I realized that the luckiest thing I did, and I didn't really realize it, and I'm trying to think why, because I do not remember my mother telling me I should not lie, because she used to lie a little bit. So I don't remember anyone telling me not to lie, but for whatever reason, I think it's almost, in my case, it was almost a superstition. I have never lied.
Clearly you haven't, because you're very truthful with things.
I mean,
about your life.
That was my biggest luck. Now, looking back, if you never lie, nobody can blackmail you. Nobody can hold anything against you. And so it's not just a virtue, it's really a trick. So that's really, I am most thankful to myself about that.
Do you think having so much success at an early age just empowered you to live that way? You didn't feel the need to do that?
I mean, first of all, it paid my bills, so if it pays your bills, that gives you independence,
right.
Clearly. So it's like, it's like I was a conduit. I realize now that, and so now in the winter of my life, what I discovered is, so the InCharge, that was always, that's what I promoted. That's when I inspired and all of it. Now I discovered, the last few years, I have discovered the power of kindness. And kindness, if you used to say, I mean, if I thought when I was little, young, that I would end up at in the winter of my life promoting kindness, I would not have believed.
Okay.
But I realized that kindness is a currency. And just like money, I mean, here we are, JPMorgan, it compounds like money, and it creates energy and more energy. And generosity is an investment, and the best investment. So I've added to be in charge now the power of kindness.
How do you hope kindness is taking forward in the world? I mean, what do you want women to do with that notion?
No, it's a gymnastics. I started a few years ago playing a little game with myself and making a miracle every morning by introducing one person to a person that can change something major in their life that they wouldn't have met without me.
Wow.
And with email and everything, you don't need to speak. You don't need to leave a message. All you have to do is write a thoughtful email explaining everything, and you make miracles. And by making miracles, they come back to you. It's an energy, and it becomes a habit, and it becomes a gymnastic. It becomes sometimes I find myself going out of my way to do something or to be kind, and I'm surprised, but it becomes part of you, and it doesn't make you weak, it doesn't make you stupid, it just makes you more powerful, really.
Well, you also host a lot of people in your offices, in your space, your store in the city, and I think people coming together is another act of kindness. What do you feel like when you see these women coming together and really leaving with potentially life-changing relationships?
It's like I don't like the word mentor, or I don't like even empower. It's about inspiring. It's about when you put women together and you tell your story and you speak the truth. People react to that because they react to you, and it makes you stronger. And that's what we do. And in this world right now, we need to put as much female energy. For example, in AI, we need to put as much female energy in AI because otherwise,
Yeah, it has to happen now. Thank you for telling your story. It is so inspiring, at least to me, to know how your mother survived just one of the most horrific things ever and what you did as a result. I mean, your life has been, I think, so full and so rich, clearly to so many people. And to come from that is just a real blessing.
But she was, she was, all my friends used to go to her to get advice, and it used to annoy me so much. And of course, ever since she's not there, I quote her all the time. So she was very strong, and she gave me strength. And I felt like my father gave us love, and my mother gave us strength, and I passed it on to my children, to my grandchildren.
So you created the DVF Awards in 2010. And you have a really clear mission. And I love the three things that you really talk about. And I feel it from her, too.
My son once came to me about 20 years ago, and he said, you do all these things for women, vital voices. The foundation should create a prize so that you can, every year you could do a prize, and you give money and visibility to. And I said, great, but how do you, what makes you start a prize out of the blue? And about 2 or 3 years later, Tina Brown started a conference in New York called Women in the World.
That's right.
And she asked me to host it with her. And so I thought, oh, okay, this is the opportunity. On the second night, it was 3 days conference. On the second night, we will do the DVF Award. And because we had an association with United Nations, the first one I did at the UN, but truly it was in a redecorated coffee shop. But But we still already had Ingrid Betancourt and Meryl Streep. So we started off really well. And so we give award. And so the mission is, and it's completely in homage to my mother, is for women who had the courage to fight, the strength to survive, and the leadership to inspire. And I mean, I'm on the board of Vital Voices, which is an incredible organization, and I all of you should look into it. And it's a network. It started in 1995, I think, and it started in the UN organized a women's leader conference, and it was in Beijing.
Yeah.
And at the time, Hillary Clinton was first lady, and that's when she made her speech, women's right are human's right, and apparently it was amazing. And out of there came Vital Voices, and it's a network of badass women who make things happen in about 184 countries.
That's incredible. But I love the things you chose to really focus on with your awards. That courage, strength, and inspiration, you need all of them. And I think you've shown women how to attain all of them or why they're so important.
We all show through our own experience, right? And that doesn't mean you have to be condescending. I mean, I'm far from being perfect, and I have no worry about showing my weaknesses or my mistakes. But that's how you get inspired, and it's really about owning who you are.
That's right.
I wrote a little book called Own It, and it's like definition, but it's like a little dictionary. So, and I was very surprised. It's the Gen Zs, the very young women who loved it. And so owning it is important. Just own it, whatever it is, do the best you can and go for it.
We had the pleasure at JPMorgan to work with you on this year's InCharge event for International Women's Day, which was really terrific. And I just want to say one thing. The fact that you brought together so many women that were international, intergenerational, representing so many different sectors, to me was so exciting to see. What did you take away from that
Well,
day?
in Europe, I mean, ever since I'm a little girl, we always celebrate Women's Day. We didn't call it International, but it was Women's Day. So I mean, in America, it wasn't a common thing at all. And I remember many, decades ago, I started to do it because I just did it, and it grew and it grew. So it's a wonderful day to celebrate, to get together, and to listen to each other's story. And this time, because it has grown, this time we did it with YouTube in that beautiful place.
Yes.
And JP Morgan sponsored it, and therefore we were able to get more people. And so it's very exciting.
And what I love about that is so many storytellers on stage talking about when they started off, how they started off, very small maybe they just did a few videos themselves and they really grew their message. And I found that very encouraging.
And again, that's always, you talk about your weaknesses, that's what's inspiring.
Yes.
That's what will give strength to others. So it's really, it goes again about, the courage to fight. You need the courage to fight, the strength to survive when it's really difficult, and the leadership to inspire. Because that is, to inspire is a sign, is everything. It's kindness, it's thoughtfulness, it's empathy, it's inclusion.
Yes. And someone else will then take the mantle and do something next. So what do you say to women who are looking to start businesses? They might not have the background, they don't know where to start, or they can't find the capital to do it. How do you really inspire them?
I never, in my case, I never, it's, when you start your life, you don't know which door is going to be your door, and my door was, walking into this factory in Italy where they printed. And so I learned everything about printing, and you don't know. You have to be curious. You have to be open. And, I know now it's all about investment and getting an investment in this and that, but it doesn't always start like that.
Right.
Maybe you start because you find a person who makes something that you can sell, So be close. I mean, if it is a product, my advice is be closest to the people who make it, because the closer you have the factories to the consumer, the better price and the better quality you can get.
And you're learning from
Right.
that consumer and bringing that
If
back.
it's services, it's different.
Yeah.
So my advice would be just be curious and do the best you can. And if you have an idea, make sure you're hard on yourself. You're sure you're not delusional, that your idea makes sense, and then the universe will tell you.
I also loved seeing in your new documentary the risks that you took. And when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about going on QVC when it was still pretty new and talking about your dresses and really selling some of your products.
Well,
at the
I
time.
mean,
That wasn't it.
that again was I was dead. I was dead. I didn't have a business anymore. I had all these licenses. I mean, it was not a good time when I went to QVC. I happened to go there, visit there, and I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. And it was pretty tacky though, but so, and I say, I wanted to do cosmetics, but they wanted to do clothes. I say, how can you sell clothes on television? But somehow I came up with a concept called silk acids. And it was silk, and it was 5 colors, 2 prints, 4 pieces, and 1, 2, 3. And at the time, Barry, who started as my lover, then became my friend, and now is my husband, he had also left. He had built the Fox network, and he left it. So we were both kind of with no occupation. And so I discovered that, and then I went on that, and then he discovered it before we know he had taken it over. It was but I mean, life is ups and downs and ups and downs. And one thing I would like to say, and that's what I say to any one of my friends who either get fired or loses their company or get a very bad press, I always say to them, remember, these hard moments will make the best anecdote when you do your TED Talk or when you write your memoir.
That's right. That's right.
And if you say that to people, they look at it so differently.
It's great perspective.
Yeah.
It really is. I love on QVC, though, you were talking to consumers over the phone.
Oh, but that I have done from the day one.
You were, but it was a new medium to do that.
But, I mean, talking to consumer is something that I did from day one, because the salesman I had shipped me at the time when I started the dresses in the mid-70s. I mean, there were so many department stores, and he would ship me and
All
go and all over the place. And there was this young European princess, coming to sell dresses that weren't very expensive, and people would look at me like I was insane. And who is this alien? And, and so you would go, and usually it was the owner of the department stores who picked me up in the car and drive me to the TV station, and we would do the Good Morning Milwaukee or Good Morning
Local
whatever.
news, right?
And then after that, we would go to the store, and we would have a meeting with all the salespeople, and I would show the clothes, and then I would do another interview, and then from 12 to 2, the customers would come.
That's great.
And they would come, and I would wrap it around. And by the way, I learned so much from them. They learned from me, but I learned from them, because if you sell on the floor, you know what you should make, and you know what people wear, and you know the bodies and all of that. So
I love that.
I learned everything from I was on the terrain for sure.
I love that. But it goes back to your point of being curious and taking advantage of those open doors that are in front of you and really embracing those possibilities
And
that are
by the
coming
way,
across.
sometimes those doors are not open. Sometimes you have to push them.
Did you have to push a door?
Yeah, you have to push the door, and I mean, but you live the journey of your life, and And so that's why the most important relationship is the relationship you have with yourself.
Yeah.
Once you have that, every other relationship is a plus and not a must.
Mm.
And that makes everything different.
So you are taking over your company again.
Yeah.
Tell us about how that's going. What's exciting?
Well,
that
what
right now?
happened is that, you go up, you go down, then it had become very big. And then I had the person running it was, opening too many outlets, too many this. So we started losing money for the first time. And then COVID came, and then I thought, okay, I need a little time off. So we paid off everything. We closed the store. And my distributor in China, I gave them the operation for 5 years, I think, 4 or 5 years. But then I realized that, the brand really has, it's not just me, blah, blah, blah. The brand has a vocabulary on its own.
That's right.
It's about fabric. It's about the quality of the fabric. It's about the prints, how they work together. It's about the body, and it's about the attitude. So I am always woman before fashion. I care about the woman. DVF is about dressing the woman in charge, to give her the tools, the tools that she will feel the best of herself. And therefore, because what is beauty? Eye contact, smile, and body language. And my clothes will help your body language for sure.
That's right.
And body language is really, really, really very important. And also, I should say, for example, the women dress according to their body. Most women have a small waist. They may have big hips, but they're small waist. Secret of the wrap dress, because it's about the waist.
Pulls that in.
And also the secret of the wrap dress is fantastic, 100% silk jersey, indestructible.
Yes.
Okay? So, and it's a woman once said to me, somebody said to me, it's the dress that you get the guy, but his mother doesn't mind.
That's right.
All right? So which means that it's both proper and sexy at the same time.
That's right.
And then women who don't have a waist, they like looseness. So you need to. And then women who like body conscious. So you have 3 morphology of the shape of the dress.
So that women can accentuate or not.
Then you have the attitude when you feel boss lady, right?
Right.
Boss lady is when you're supposed to be a boss lady, or you go, work. Then you have diva, when you want to be pretty and sexy and glamorous. And then you have hostess, right? When you have
functional and have to run the show. Yes.
And so that's the method.
Did you recall when you were starting your company originally feeling all those things from time to time? So
yeah, but I mean, maybe I didn't spell it out so clearly. It's the experience looking back. Yeah, but I mean, this very dress that you're wearing is the dress. It was the first print for the wrap dress. First, it was the wrap top with a matching skirt and a matching pant.
Yes.
And then it became a wrap dress. And it was the leopard and the snake. And that just took off. And that's 51 years ago.
I really love this story when you saw the wrap top and skirt together and came up with the dress concept. Can you tell that story?
No, I mean, it makes a big, it was history. I remember Julie Eisenhower, the daughter of Nixon. She went on television to defend her father or something like that. And she was wearing one of the little wrap top with a skirt. And for me, that was a big deal. And so I thought, well, it should really be a dress. And so I went back to Italy and we worked with a pattern maker. And it wasn't easy to make it a dress and yet to have the cutaways and so. But we didn't.
That's great. I love when you see a product kind of in use and that's where you come up with that inspiration for some other way from it. So when you're talking to women these days, friends and others in your network, and women feel like we're taking a step back or we're losing certain freedoms, maybe it gets back to your kindness or to the things we need to focus on right now, but what do you advise them?
Well, I always promote solution and seduction, because those are the two things, the two big weapons women have, is that they always have the solution.
Mm.
I mean, I really think that women are very practical. For myriad of things. They have children, they have, menstruated every month. I mean, they have to put up with all kinds of things. So women, they have it on their bodies. So I feel like the most submissive woman, there's a fire in the house, all of a sudden, boom, her strength comes out. She gets the children, the jewelry, whatever, and out the door, So women, I feel, have the solution. And so my advice is that we should really practice the seduction. And that doesn't mean showing your legs. Even if you have beautiful legs, you could do that. It's not that. Seduction is getting the solution made, allowing the others to think it's also their idea. I think we have to do. We should always do a little bit of that.
So getting more of the buy-in, making sure that you can influence people,
yes,
in a way that you want to see the outcomes. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Because otherwise, you chart drive
versus the fighting.
Yeah.
You also seem to be very good at not holding on to anger,
No.
Fear, regret, some of these really powerful emotions.
Okay, no anger. I mean,
it can be hard.
I think I can't really remember having a fight.
Wow, ever?
Very, very short.
Yeah.
It's no point. And anger is no point. Let the other one be angry. I mean, it's you have to process. It's toxic. Anger, shame.
Yeah.
Shame is the worst. I mean, shame is terrible. Guilt is terrible. So, but again, it goes back to truth. Everything goes back to truth.
That's right. That's right.
Everything.
I think some people might always want to live their truth, but don't always feel that they will be embraced by society for it, or they'll be criticized.
I know, but you shouldn't think too much about the others. You should really be comfortable with yourself. And another thing, do not compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could think that yes, I was ambitious, but I'm not competitive.
That's so interesting. Was it all driven from what you wanted to
all
achieve for
these
yourself?
things you have to understand. I'm realizing them now. And because of my age now, I can say, okay, I can say it.
It's helpful to hear.
Because I have all these many years of experience.
Yeah.
But I realized, yes, I'm ambitious, but I don't compare myself to others because, and another trick with jealousy, right? If you're jealous because your husband, your boyfriend, if you're jealous of somebody, remember one thing. They are probably more jealous of you.
That will help turn things
around. And that gives you strength.
That does. I really like that. I'm curious with the documentary that's recently been out. There's an exhibit out also in LA on you. Do you think the storytellers in those situations got it right?
Both those things were not marketing efforts.
Oh, no, yeah.
Both those things happened independently of me, which is nice because, yes, I was the subject of the documentary, which you could see on Disney+, but I had no editing, nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I trusted the producers and the director. She's somebody I knew. Actually, originally, I wanted to do with her, Charmin. She won 2 Oscars by the time she was 35 on documentary. I wanted to do a series on the documentary on the women that I give award to.
Oh, wow.
But no network wanted it.
They wanted you.
And they wanted me, and that's how it happened. And then Charmin said, well, if we do you, we'll talk about the women through you. And I said, okay. But then she didn't really. But not much.
I think the awards come through and the women for sure. But do you think they got it right? Did she get it right in terms of how she portrayed you? And were you happy with the result?
First of all, I didn't want to see it until it came out, but she insisted. So a month before, 2 months before I saw it, I saw it with Barry.
Yeah.
And Barry loved it, actually. So that reassured me. I was still uncomfortable, but whatever. And then when I saw it, it opened the Tribeca last year, and the Tribeca Festival, and I sat there between my son and my husband. My son was crying, and I liked it. I saw it as a spectator, and what I do like is what people the one word that comes out of what people say is unapologetic.
Yes.
And I never thought about that word as it relates to me, but I kind of like it. I'll stand by it.
Did your children like it too? Did they like the process? Because they were very much featured in it. And
No, Tatiana didn't like it, and she had had something, so she was a bit swollen, so she didn't like that, the way she looked and so on. But yeah, I think they liked it. Your children are not, we're very close. We speak more than twice a day, certainly twice a day. We have a family chat. We know everything about one another, but they are not. I always say, well, I can't get true respect from you guys. So that's why I need an audience, So that's what I always tell them. Having said that, they call me the goat. They call me the oracle, but they in front of me they don't. But which is better? I mean,
yes, no, you're still mom. You're still mom to them.
Exactly.
But it is a really beautiful story, not only with you and your children, but with so much of your mother that was featured, and her letters, the letters that she was writing as she was being shipped out to the camps.
And I found them.
Had you seen them before that?
No, she did not know. She used to tell me, when I was in the truck, both from the prison to, because when they were arrested, then they went to some kind of a prison until there were 1,000 of them or 500 of them. Then they were shipped in the cattle train. And so they were, anyway, twice they were in the truck. And she used to say, I took a piece of cardboard and I wrote with a match, and I threw it on the street. And truly, I did not believe her. I thought she was just talking. I say, yeah. I did not believe her. The last 10 years of her life, she lived in the Bahamas. She had a beautiful little beach house, and she was very happy there. And then she died. I inherited the house, and I had lent the house to a cousin of mine, who is the son of my mother's older sister. And so, as a gift, he brought me a box full of pictures, photographs that he found from his mother. His mother was older than my mother, so she was dead too. And in that box, I saw all the pictures, and at the bottom of the box, there was an envelope that was so thin because it says, and you could barely read it. It says Lily, that was her name, 1944.
Oh, my goodness.
And I opened it, and there were these 2 notes.
Unbelievable.
And I don't think my mother ever knew that those notes were found.
Really?
No, because when they came back, the prisoner that came back, they didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about anything. The parents didn't want to talk about anything. It's over, forget it. So she never said, "Did you get my notes?" And nobody knew that.
She had her address.
The
on
mother
there.
and then the sister kept it.
Wow.
But she did not know. I'm pretty sure she did not know that those notes existed. But I found them.
That is remarkable.
And that was, it takes a lot to get me emotion, but I was like that. And I was in front of the water, because a beautiful blue water of the Bahamas. And I went in the water, and talking to myself, I said, this is who I am. Because she said, I don't know where I'm going. My dear parents, I don't know where I'm going, but I want you to know I'm leaving with a smile, which of course wasn't true, but she wanted her parents to think that. So I said to myself, this is who I am. I'm the daughter of a woman who went to the camp with a smile.
The legacy she left and what you carried on is really, truly remarkable.
But legacy is about the people you touch.
And I think you have.
And to inspire is a good thing. And every single person can inspire because first and foremost by telling the truth.
Yes, their truth and helping others.
Because just telling your story, that's why I tell everybody, keep a diary, write a diary. I've written a diary all my life.
So let's maybe close with the words that you wrote for this year. You have words you write in your diary every year for the year ahead.
So this year, I remember definitely agility.
Yes.
Strength and kindness. And the year before was intention and manifestation.
And do you revisit these words during the year, or you sort of keep them front and center?
No, but they become, I love words. Words are so powerful. Words have power on their own, but that's why, again, you have to use words with their true meanings.
And so agility. Talk about why agility is important right now.
In the world that's chaotic right now, we all need agility.
Yeah.
And that goes from knowing how to pack. If you pack lightly, you live lightly. Organizing yourself, knowing where you are.
Well, I think the wrap dress will work on the packing front. So, Diane, thank you so much for being with us.
I did a lot of talking.
Well, that's what we hoped for.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to my conversation with the legendary Diane von Furstenberg. From redefining fashion to championing female leadership, Diane has demonstrated what's possible when women take ownership of their power. Her message is clear. Be in charge of your life, your voice, and your vision. And in this day and age, most importantly, embrace kindness. I hope as you build your community, you surround yourself with people who have the courage to fight, the strength to survive, and the leadership to inspire. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to it on your favorite podcast platform.